Hi there, my name's Rona Barbour and I'm a storyteller. So I'd like to share a little story with you now. It's called The Cottage Garden. The old lady was wakened by a strange noise, but it was beautiful. It was a sweet, lullaby-sounding noise, and she couldn't understand where it was coming from. So she reluctantly climbed out of her warm, cosy bed, threw her gown round her shoulders and went to the window and peered out. There was nothing to be seen. There was no movement, no sound. The singing had stopped. So she crawled back into bed and went to sleep. And the next morning, she went out, as usual, to water her garden. And she noticed there was something different about her tulips. The heads were bent, not broken, but bent. Not too badly, but nevertheless, this was something she'd have to look out for and see what was causing this damage. That night, she heard the singing again, but this time she was awake when it started. So she pulled on her cloak and her boots and she went outside. And standing well back, she peered because she could see movement in her tulip bed. And she peered over and could not believe her eyes. There was a fairy rocking her little baby in the tulip head as if it was a cradle, and singing while she was doing it, and the sound was just magical. The old lady was transfixed for a few minutes, and then she heard another and another, and she looked around, and they were everywhere, all over her garden. She was delighted that they'd chosen her garden, but they would, because it was the nicest garden around after all. And she didn't want to disturb them, so she crept back inside. This happened every night, and she watched and she listened, and she used to leave little gifts for the fairies, but she never disturbed them. Sadly, not long after she had discovered this, the old lady died, and her beautiful cottage was sold. And it was sold to a young couple who wanted to make it all modern, including the garden. And they dug up all the flower beds and threw them in the bin. And they laid paving stones, and in between the paving stones, every now and again, they would plant a bush or some fancy tree or other. But they never grew, not one of them. Nothing ever grew in that garden ever again. However, in the woodland where the old lady was buried, flowers started to spring up everywhere. Spring, summer, autumn, even winter. All the year round, there was wonderful blooms in that woodland and the most incredible perfumes. And on a quiet night, you could hear the fairies sing to their babies. That woodland might be near you, so why don't you take a walk up there if it is? You might get a nice surprise.